Welcome, everyone, to our second episode of What's the Hype? Today, I'm fortunate to have two very special guests, two people that we want to introduce to the membership that may, if you haven't met Scott and Stephanie Denton, well, here's your opportunity to get to know Scott and Stephanie, learn about Carmel Hyperion, learn about their history, learn about Denton Homes, and whatever else we get going on today on the podcast. So first, welcome, Scott and Stephanie. This is our second edition. Our second episode, and for those of you that don't know, we closed with the Dentons last week on the sale of the 30 acres over just north and east of the driving range to Scott and Stephanie. So Scott and Stephanie, welcome.
Thank you.
Evan, thanks for having us. We are excited to be here. I think as we all took a big deep breath last week and went, it's this milestone's finished. So yes, we closed. We've sealed the deal on the partnership with Hyperion, Denton Homes and Carmel Hyperion. So we're thrilled to be here. Would love to be able to have the membership get to know us a little bit more. They know you folks, so we're kind of new to the club, but not new to what we do.
Right. Well, let's talk about that for a little bit. I've heard parts of your story about how you got into the business. I know it's very unique. If you could share with us, how you got to become building, these executive homes throughout Des Moines and even down in Ringgold County at Sun Valley Lake, it sounds like. So walk us through that, because I know you've been it's about 17, 18 years or so. So I'll let you guys take the floor.
We've actually just passed the 18-year threshold, and we'll probably tag team a little bit, but I'll tee up a little bit of background. I have a business background in both insurance and information technology, and spent years kind of in corporate America, if you will. And Scott was in the construction industry.
Yep.
When we paired up, and
when we paired up, we kind of brought the his and her approach to home building. So we understand that everybody has their role in a home, and everybody's got their thing that they want to see in a home, and then we just paired our
gifts and talents.
Yep.
Scott is just incredible at what he does, from just seeing the vision of a global piece of property, whether it's a development or whether it's a lot. In this case, it was amazing to be able to have this all just come together in 27 lots. But the history has been kind of fun. We are, although his and hers, we just have very diverse skill sets, yet we come together as one, and we've built an amazing team. We started out exclusively custom home building. We won several awards and a couple of home shows over the years. And as we got into it, we found really after the, probably just in the last 10 years, it's people coming to us saying, how do I find an executive lot? And people might say, well, what is an executive lot? It's acreage, trees, space, not being in a fishbowl, if you will. So we really set out and took the approach of, well, if we can't find lots, how about
how do we make them?
How do we make them?
And there's only so many, right?
And that's the thing. There's only so many nice lots, and we found ourselves being at the end of a cul-de-sac, and it's like, how do we make an entire neighborhood the nice lots? How do we make the cul-de-sacs that where people have their views and privacies in a neighborhood?
So Carmel Hyperion is our third development. So we not only are a custom home builder, but a developer as well. So this has been an exciting 18-plus year journey, and looking forward to sharing a little bit more about our development out here.
Well, thank you for that little bit of background information. You talked about these executive homes. What makes your homes a Denton home? What sets you apart from other builders in the area? I know I was in one of your homes last week. And it's just absolutely beautiful. It is beautiful. And, I know you guys, from what I've gathered, you like the wooded lots. That's big, and that adds a lot, just the ambiance of the home. But yeah, kind of tell us a little bit about what makes a home a Scott and Stephanie Denton home.
And we take it from are these lots, are these neighborhoods, is that somewhere we'd want to move into? And I look at every lot that way. It's like, hey,
right,
if
we want to put our
name on it, it's like, is this something you could move into and feel good about? Hey, these are great lots, great location.
I think too, when we look at, that executive lot, what's the Denton difference? What makes us different? I think the exciting thing is when you look at the home and these are custom homes. These are not spec homes. We are building homes for individuals and families, and they come to us with this is what I want to do, Dentons. How do we make this happen? And really an important element is not only the livability, what season of life they're not only in today, but where's this family going to be in 10, 15 years? So we can look at how that home needs to be built. And how do we bring the outdoors in? In the Midwest, it's either going to be 90 some degrees like it was this weekend,
Sure.
or it could be 50 degrees next weekend. So how do we put together those incredible elements of character, spaces, and just think outside the box? And as Scott and I like to call it, we're really taking these homes from the curb to getting curtains in their homes. So how do we make it different? And we feel with our experience and just the differences of how we lay these plans out together, we are with these families every step of the way. We obviously are, the first thing we say is, let's find your lot first. When we find that lot, then we know what views we have to work with. And then we're sitting down and we're doing the home plan design together. And throughout that time, we're talking budget, we're talking finishes, we're talking outdoor spaces. And then we just take it to that next level of, okay, I think we're ready to dig a hole.
And you spend a lot of time with these homeowners to go through that journey, and you get to know them, you get to know their family, and you just help that process of making decisions, making selections. Building custom homes does not have to be overwhelming if you got a good coach that just, these homeowners have the right answer. We just got the things, just get the questions out to them so they can answer it, like, hey, these are the things we like, these are the things we don't like, and how do we, they've all lived in a home, like, hey, what were the things that wanted bigger in the last house? What are the things small in your last house? We play back to that a lot.
Excellent. Yeah. That's good insight to have for our listeners as well as myself. Let's kind of talk about the process of how we got here and kind of why Hyperion for your third development. I know you were engaged a couple years ago. This has been about a 2-year process. If you could just share with us what the process has been like on your end as we finally got there, as you said at the start. And I'll just let you guys kind of explain that.
It's definitely been
unique for sure.
It's definitely been a process, and for Scott and Stephanie, the end goal for us was them nice lots. And I've always seen this piece that capable of creating nice lots.
I think really we've actually been kind of chuckling this past week. It's like it's almost been a 3-year process because there's just been a lot of roundtable visits and could we, should we, and I think one of the things when Scott was approached by some folks at Hyperion saying, okay, hey, we've talked to quite a few people. What do you see your vision being? And Scott really sitting down and just focusing on, okay, this is a big picture. How can we get executive lots? How can we get entrances to work? How can we get the city? How can we get neighbors? This development is not for the faint of heart. There are a lot of dynamics. We see the beautiful trees, but we'll be excited here in the upcoming months as we start seeing these paths get paved. There are so many dynamics that what has this last 2 years been like? It's working with our engineer team at Abakai Consulting, working with the folks at City of Johnston, pairing up with city council folks, neighbors, and most importantly, Carmel Hyperion Field Club, and how can we make Carmel Hyperion cohesive in the community. But there has been a lot of really a lot of detail and thought put into how do we keep every tree we can, how can we maximize every view we can, and stretch every limitation we can. And that certainly has taken its 24 months of planning and designing to come to where we're at today.
Well, good, and I'm glad where we're at today is where
we
we're
are
at.
Excited.
There were some times where I know
excited.
where it was pretty touch and go with different issues that came up, and
Yep.
Just thank you guys for your patience and your willingness to see it through now that we finally got here.
Well, Evan, I appreciate that. That's one of the things too is bringing an experienced developer that can navigate these unique waters of federal and city local regulations of making sure that we're preserving the environment, and that is exactly what we've been doing. So, yeah.
Awesome. So now that we're here, and like I said, I'm glad we're here. what are those next steps? Now that you guys own the land as of last Tuesday about 3:30, that's all yours.
Yeah.
So kind of walk us through. I know, Scott, you're more so on the construction side.
Yep.
What does it look like, for the members over there, for you guys? What are your objectives? Obviously, access is very important, but kind of take us through what the rest of the year might look like for the members over there as well as you guys.
So we definitely, as the developer, want to keep the access a smooth transition from the driving range, so we don't have the interruptions there. We've also know that
Taking care of our members.
Yep, taking care of the members. We have the intersection need to be realigned with the Hyperion entrance to the turning lanes across the road. So we're going to start that process, and then along the driving range, on the north side of the driving range, we'll start doing grading work. In the next 45 days, we'll have grading work going on out there. That's still, again, not disturbing the access to the driving range, but allowing us to get some of the stuff done to hopefully get to the point where we can put some seed down and have green grass in the spring. When we come out with pavement, we can drive down.
Awesome. Well, I know in coordination with you, I know you'll be working closely with myself and Jim. Something I do want to share with the members, it was in a communication we sent out, but functionality and accessibility of the range is of the utmost importance to Scott and Stephanie, as well as the club as we move through the rest of the golfing season. I know you mentioned, Scott, too, the more we can get done this fall,
Yes.
the farther it puts both you guys and us ahead next spring as we move forward with your development. One thing I did want to point out, I didn't realize this until I saw the plan, but you've named the main road 1900 Drive after Hyperion, which I think is really cool, as well as Sani Court and Bendelow Court. And for those people that don't know who Herman Sani is, many, many years ago, this club was about ready to go bankrupt due to some back taxes they hadn't paid. And Herman Sani came in and basically he saved the club. And he's a big reason why Hyperion's still here today. And Tom Bendelow, who's the golf course architect, he designed this course way back in the early 1900s. So that's really cool that you guys paid tribute to those two people, as well as to when Hyperion was started.
Well, and that also shows some collaboration too. When we reached out to the Hyperion team and the marketing team, of, we want your input. This is your neighborhood too, Hyperion. So we truly want to give that credit back to the Hyperion folks of putting the right names on the streets, and we're just thrilled to have a historical element in the development.
And it's the history, and I think them folks both had a lot of history to this club, and we feel like this opportunity for both Denton Homes and Carmel Hyperion has a great history in the future. What it's going to do for this club.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of future, in future with Hyperion, some of our listeners may know, some of them may not, but buying a home or buying a lot at Carmel Hyperion, you become a member of Hyperion. So that's something that was built into the HOA, the covenants. You'll be able to have your own golf cart if you'd like.
Yep.
There's many other benefits too with being a lot owner, homeowner at Carmel Hyperion. If you just kind of want to touch on that a little bit and why that was important to you guys.
Well, it was important as we, Carmel Developments and the Hyperion team, of every neighborhood needs a homeowners association, an HOA, but really kind of almost that belts and suspenders when people say, okay, this is Carmel Hyperion. How is Hyperion going to make sure that we're going to hold this neighborhood accountable to not only the architecture, but the culture of Hyperion Field Club? Hyperion actually has a golf homeowners association layered on top of our neighborhood association. It helps keep both of us accountable. It really spells out what that detail is. So yeah, being able to, you buy a lot, build a home, you become a member. This is a member exclusive neighborhood. You become a member of Hyperion Field Club. In addition, as Evan just said, you can drive your golf cart home in the evening or after a round of golf or being at the swimming pool and heading back to your garage.
And I think there's something to be said about just that access, going to the restaurant, having your bags right on your golf cart already, that you're not having to, out of the trunk of the car, they're already built in. I mean, you already have them, and just got to align your tee times with it.
Yeah, I think it's great with that, just that amenity. I know several people that I've talked to around the club or whatever, and they find out, oh, you can have a golf cart over there. I said, well, yeah, you can have your own golf cart, So it's just, that's so new to Hyperion. We've never been a residential golfing community, and that's what you guys have brought to us. So obviously we're probably 18 to 24 months away from that, depending on, lot sales and all of the homes
Yep.
being built, but that's it's not that far away.
It is not that far away, and it is exciting. I think when people look at this and they ask questions like, so are all of us members? All of us members are in the neighborhood? Yes, you are all members sharing a neighborhood together. It is the only one in Iowa that to be able to be in this neighborhood, you must be a member of the golf club. So that's exciting. That's one
Very
of the first
exciting.
offerings here in Iowa.
Yep.
Yeah, couldn't say enough good things about it. So when you're talking lots, if someone were to be interested in a lot, who do they go to? How do
So-
they get there? All
Yep.
that stuff.
Great questions. We have got a wonderful page on our website at dentonhomesiowa.com. It can lead you right to the tab where it's Carmel Hyperion. We will, as of hopefully here within the next few days, we will be able to roll out lot prices. We're putting some finishing touch on some development components that will allow us to sit down and say, here are the lots. We have 27 lots. We'll be able to show what each size of lot is, but there's actually lots range from anywhere from
Half acre to almost 2 acres.
half acre to
wow.
almost 2 acres. So these are nice, spacious wooded lots with a lot of thought and creativity of where their views are. So going out to our website, there's a page where you can just link right to our email, and we get those emails instantly. So we're able to communicate pretty quickly, but we're hoping with the interest that we've gathered so far that we'll be meeting with people as early as next week and sitting down and
better.
being able to show them the plat map and be able to talk through lot pricing, which is what we've
Outstanding.
been highly anticipating.
Yes.
We can also at that time talk about not only the lot sales price, but kind of what's that expectation? What does it mean when I build a home with Dentons? I don't, maybe I do, maybe I don't know the Dentons, and we'll be able to walk through what our build process is in addition to lot sales.
Outstanding. It's been a long time coming, but we're finally there.
Yay.
Well, I'll kind of wrap things up here unless you guys have anything else you want to add. But one thing that I wanted to point out with Scott and Stephanie and with Hyperion, as I mentioned, this is an HOA becoming. We're a team with the Dentons, and we're here to help them in any way, and they're here to help us in any way as we begin this process, as it's a new process. And one thing that is of the utmost important is communication. We're having a podcast now, there's going to be periodic updates, podcasting to emails to social media. We want as much information as we can to be in front of the membership. I know Scott and Stephanie want the same thing. So like I said, we're a team here, and we're excited to get this going.
Well, Evan, we're excited to be here. I don't think we stop and pause and just give thanks. This has just been a blessing of a neighborhood and to be a part of it. We are so incredibly thankful to Hyperion, Evan, you, and the general, and Larry Sidwell. Thank you so much, and just the patience of the entire membership through this journey, because it's, when are we going to get this? Come on, when are we going to get this? And here we are. So it's exciting to be here and to be able to talk about that partnership we have, because again, I can't stress enough that this is the only opportunity, a development in Iowa, where you have a golf community and you have a neighborhood community that are partners in walking this journey and just making this a success. So Evan, thank you to you and your team.
Thank
We are
you
just
guys.
very, very fortunate to be at the table here.
Thank you.
It's exciting. Well, thanks for coming out. We'll be back next couple weeks with another episode of What's the Hype. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks.